Now on Denver 7 News at 7 on Local 3, we're following developing news out of Texas. A chaotic scene this morning. Hundreds of people had to be rescued overnight as severe weather tore through, and it's moving east now.
Back here at home, we have new video this morning revealing the heroism of a local police officer as she took down a gunman after a rampage through both Denver and Lakewood.
More cuts coming to the Broncos roster. Who's still got a shot at playing in the regular season? We have one more preseason game this weekend.
Yeah, they have to make some significant decisions here over the next couple weeks.
I'm glad we don't have to do that here. Like decide on our team who goes. Yeah.
Make my heart stop for a second.
It wouldn't be you.
No, you say that. You say that. Thanks for joining us here on Denver 7 News at 7 on Local 3. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. And it wouldn't be Lisa either. We would keep
you,
Lisa.
Do you trust her?
If we all let's band together. It's Jason.
Yeah.
Can he hear me on this microphone? I don't know.
Oh, goodness.
We are looking at a beautiful day. You're just the last to talk in the lineup here this morning, so you're kind of the scapegoat, Jace. Upper 50s and low 60s here this morning. Lots of sunshine. We're going to be in for a pretty nice out-the-door forecast. Near 80 by about noon, by lunchtime, and then we'll hit highs in the mid to upper 80s. Take a look up and down the Front Range. Quite a bit warmer, also drier than what we've seen this past couple of days. It's been pretty wet, so nice to get some drier, more summer-like weather returning just in time for those DPS kids to head back to school. Pretty toasty in some of those classrooms today. We're going to be at about 90 degrees this afternoon. A few storms possible for the mountains, and we'll take a closer look at that coming up. You know, I still love you, right?
All right. Do you see, I tried to brush off all those tire marks from that bus you threw me under. This is, you see the drive is pretty heavy in some of the usual spots, 270, 225. It actually looks pretty good here on 470 up to the north near Longmont. Just a lot of sunshine to deal with. Take a look at the overall drive, and we do have some heavy traffic. I'll get to that in just a second. I want to update you on this shuttle bus issue. So we have these A-line trains that are undergoing some kind of emergency repair, and it's really affecting the stations there at for really Central Park over to Gateway at 40th and Airport. So there are some trains running between downtown and Central Park, but those are delayed, and then the ones going from DIA over to Gateway, those are also delayed, but there's also buses in there too. So driving to the airport might be the better option. That's wide open. You can see some of the heavy traffic in some of these other usual spots right here this morning.
All right. Well, we did get a little rain here yesterday. It was pretty nice, but I mean, look at what they're dealing with in Texas and other states after a storm that dropped 15 inches of rain. That storm now pushing east, but you can see fields submerged. We saw video of roads, people walking through the water. Hundreds of people had to be rescued. In Dallas alone, firefighters had to respond to dozens of water emergencies, also collapsed structures in a Mesquite, which is a suburb of Dallas. Sadly, a 60-year-old woman appears to have died in the flooding. And about 100 miles east of Dallas, some buildings were destroyed in Winona. The National Weather Service confirmed a tornado is responsible for this damage.
I could see all this flying. I mean, it happened quick.
City phone ring with the alert that there was a storm in the area. Then a few minutes later, tornado, and then boom, started getting calls and that sort of thing that the tornado had hit.
Dallas and neighboring Fort Worth, of course, are home to two major airports, and the storm caused a lot of cancellations. Almost 1,500 flights canceled into or out of the U.S. because of the problems at those two airports, and almost 8,000 flights delayed nationwide yesterday.
Well, we are getting a new look at video showing the heroic actions of a Lakewood police officer from last December stopping a gunman on a deadly shooting spree.
The gunman killed 5 people in Denver and Lakewood before Agent Ashley Ferris brought his deadly rampage to an end. Here's Denver 7's Jessica Porter.
The 911 calls are terrifying.
I am at Vanson, Alaska in the Belmar Shopping Center. Someone was shot at a cop.
The urgency on police radio equally unnerving.
If you have your tac vests, put them on. Dispatch, we're hearing shots fired. We're hearing shots fired.
But the heroism of one Lakewood agent prevented more bloodshed in the community.
I told him I'm hit, Alaska, man, please hurry. I'm hit, send medical.
The night of December 27th, 2021, Lyndon McLeod shot and killed 3 people in Denver in various locations before fleeing to Lakewood.
Yeah? Well, I guess who's in charge?
Where he continued his murder spree, killing 2 others.
Me and my wife were in the shop. We were about to get tattoos. We were just standing there, and this guy in this suit and this Rifle came in, shot him 3 times.
Hi, we're in Hyatt House, Lakewood. Thank you.
How do you know for sure that she was shot?
Because he shot, like we heard it. We saw him walk up to her. We thought he was the police, and he fired 2 times.
At the Belmar Shopping Center, the gunman got into a shootout with Lakewood agent Brianna Hagan. Hagan was not hit.
He's still shooting, shots fired off from agents and suspects still running.
Finally, Lakewood agent Ashley Ferris confronts the gunman. He shoots her in the abdomen, but she shoots back while lying on the ground, killing him. We spoke to her in May as she was honored for her bravery that day.
The best thing he could have done was display his weapon to me, because at the time I didn't see his weapon. I didn't know who he was. He had police identifiers on. What if I had let him walk away? But instead, he made the choice to fire his gun at me, and he sealed his fate that way.
Just incredible bravery by her. Agent Ferris is still recovering. She is on desk assignment right now, but she says she is eager to return to patrol.
Wow. Well, sadly, we're learning a 13-year-old's death in Longmont may have ties to gang violence. Zay Rosales, just 13, was killed on Saturday when someone shot at him from a car. He was walking through the park with his cousin and another teen who were also injured, but both survived. According to court documents, those teens told police the shooting may have stemmed from a gang fight at the Boulder County Fairgrounds the weekend before. Members of one gang had been sending threats on Instagram. One of those members is Yahir Solis. Seen here, the 19-year-old is accused of killing Rosales. A former Denver paramedic is charged with stealing more than 4 dozen vials of fentanyl. Court documents show Christopher Pattinson stole 50 vials, claiming they were for patients, but he actually took them for himself. Pattinson is also accused of removing something called fentanyl citrate from vials and replacing it with another substance. Denver Health says no patients were harmed by his actions and no patients went without their medication. He was fired in January.
Well, it is a waiting game right now between student loan borrowers, servicers, and the White House. Because for borrowers, still with a large balance hanging over their heads, a huge weight could be lifted tomorrow.
People have been waiting a long time for this. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live from the Auraria campus, where we're hearing new details on the plans to cancel student loan debt. Christian.
Yeah, and as you guys just mentioned, we could be getting that announcement as early as tomorrow. So borrowers who make less than $125,000 a year, they could have up to $10,000 of student debt canceled. And the timing of this is important because the moratorium that has paused federal student loan payments since March of 2020, that is set to expire on Wednesday, August 31st. So up until now, borrowers have not had to make payments since March of 2020. Student debt, though, has been an issue since before the pandemic and the election, and long before our historic inflation kicked in as well. Some critics worried, though, that canceling billions of dollars in debt, that is money that is technically still going to have to be paid back because it's not going into the system. They're worried that this would only make inflation worse and doesn't do anything to help future students or people who have already paid off their loans. On the other hand, progressives have been pushing President Biden to cancel up to $50,000 in student debt without income restrictions, but he has repeatedly rejected that plan. But we should know tomorrow, because that is when CNN is reporting that we are going to be hearing those announcements. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. Denver public school students went back yesterday, but their teachers are now focused on another important deadline. Their contract ends next week. The district and teachers union will negotiate for 3 days this week. I spoke to the president of the Denver Classroom Teachers Association about what they'll focus on.
There are not just money, but there are some other asks here. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, money is one of those things that we need just to survive, right? But there's also some different things that we've talking to the district about. Mainly those things are around class size and caseload size, right? So our class sizes have really ballooned up over the last few years. Teachers and also our educators are all feeling the stress of that. They're feeling the stress of having more students. They love working with their students, but it's when the amount of volume that you have through grading papers, through talking with parents.
The union says DPS is offering a 3.5% cost of living raise, but they want something closer to the 9% rate of inflation.
Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett has some tough decisions to make today. He needs to cut down the roster by 5 more players and has a lot of evaluation to sift through after a tough loss to the Bills Saturday. Backup players played the whole game, and they have one more preseason game this Saturday before the decisions get really tough. The Broncos have to ultimately cut their roster from 80 players down to 53 next week.
Women supporting women in business, the new space opening in the Metro next month, and how it will help working women.
And a Colorado politician flips parties, why he said he's switching from Republican to Democrat.